All right, we are coming up on 8 o'clock. So, let's settle in. Let's get comfortable. Let's cozy up to a nice book. Welcome back. Tonight is our second night of reading from Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. We left off last time as we were getting through Book 3, Song of Myself. And it is nice to note, particularly, that this book is, or this collection of poems is remarkably optimistic. It's hopeful. It's not as jaded as, well, as we are. And that change, that perspective was refreshing. It was surprising how much I enjoyed this in the first reading. I'm usually not too much for poetry, just by virtue of I'd usually rather read prose or a book, fiction, nonfiction, etc., just something. But from time to time, poetry does hit just right. And this is one of those times. In a time where there's so much that's just fucking depressing out there. It's very nice to have a refreshingly bright outlook. And this was written in a time, and Whitman lived in a time when it was difficult to get by. It was difficult to be outside the norm. And so, I think having this chance, this opportunity to read something that has so much spirit to it is very nice. Now, I do need to, before we get in, I do need to update my drink because the highball was last night. Tonight, we're just going straight in with some Sazerac rye. And you know what? There's never anything wrong with just a good old rye whiskey. Exactly. It's important to go at things that we don't always agree with or like. Or because then we make discoveries. Sometimes like this, we find that we really enjoy it. And other times we come up against Henry David Thoreau and realize, you know what? No, I was right all along. But you know what? Confirming your opinions is sometimes every bit as valid as challenging your boundaries. All right, let's go ahead and settle in tonight. And jump back over to our reading nook, where we will continue with our reading tonight. We left off partway through. The nice thing about this, well, it's mixed. The verses make it very easy to pick up and drop off. Just remember which verse you were on. The downfall being, given that this is a collection of poetry, it's just broken up by books, not so much by chapters. So these are very long selections. Not a problem, because we can lean on the verses to let us know where to pick back up. So, we're resuming tonight from verse 19 of Book 3, Song of Myself, in Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. This is the meal equally set, this the meat for natural hunger. It is for the wicked just same as the righteous. I make appointments with all. I will not have a single person slighted or left away. The kept woman, sponger, thief are hereby invited. The heavy-lipped slave is invited. The venerale is invited. Venerale? Venereally, I think. It's venereal disease, probably. Yeah, that's... yeah, every book, we are of a mind, as usual, Akamos. Everything that we've brought back to the channel that I've read previously, I'm like, okay, yeah, as a kid, I didn't really care for this because I didn't understand it, or having a new perspective as I'm reading it again makes a big difference. Thoreau and Walden, nah, fuck right off. There shall be no difference between them and the rest. This is the press of a bashful hand. This, the float and odor of hair. This, the touch of my lips to yours. This, the murmur of yearning. This, the far-off depth and height reflecting my own face. This, the thoughtful merge of myself, and the outlet again. Do you guess I have some intricate purpose? Well, I have, for the 4th month showers have, and the mica on the side of the rock has. Do you take it I would astonish? Does the daylight astonish? Does the early red start twittering through the woods? Do I astonish more than they? This hour I tell things in confidence. I might not tell everybody, but I will tell you. Who goes there? Hankering, gross, mystical, nude. How is it I extract strength from the beef I eat? What is a man, anyhow? What am I? What are you? All I mark as my own, you shall offset it with your own. Else it were time lost listening to me. I do not snivel, that snivel the world over. That months are vacuums, and the ground but wallow in filth. Whimpering and truckling fold with powders for invalids, conformity goes to the 4th removed. I wear my hat as I please, indoors or out. Why should I pray? Why should I venerate and be ceremonious? Having pried through the strata, analyzed to a hair, counseled with doctors and calculated close, I find no sweeter fat than sticks to my own bones. In all people, I see myself. None more, and not one a barleycorn less. And the good or bad I say of myself, I say of them. I know I am solid and sound. To me, the converging objects of the universe perpetually flow. All are written to me, and I must get what the writing means. I know I am deathless. I know this orbit of mine cannot be swept by a carpenter's compass. I know I shall not pass like a child's carlicue, cut with a burnt stick at night. I know I am august. I do not trouble my spirit to vindicate itself or be understood. I see that the elementary laws never apologize. I reckon I behave no prouder than the level I plant my house by, after all. I exist as I am. That is enough. If no other in the world be aware, I sit content. And if each and all be aware, I sit content. One world is aware, and by far the largest to me, and that is myself. And whether I come to my own today, or in 10,000 or 10 million years, I can cheerfully take it now, or with equal cheerfulness, I can wait. My foothold is tenoned and mortised in granite. I laugh at what you call dissolution, and I know the amplitude of time. I am the poet of the body, and I am the poet of the soul. The pleasures of heaven are with me, and the pains of hell are with me. The first I graft and increase upon myself, the latter I translate into new tongue. I am the poet of the woman, the same as the man. And I say it is as great to be a woman as to be a man. And I say there is nothing greater than the mother of men. I chant the chant of dilation or pride. We have had ducking and deprecating about enough. I know that size is only development. Have you outstripped the rest? Are you the president? It is a trifle. They will more than arrive there, every one, and still pass on. I am he that walks with the tender and growing night. I call to the earth and sea half held by the night. Press close, bare-bosomed night, press close, magnetic, nourishing night. Night of south winds, night of the large few stars, still nodding night, mad, naked summer night. Smile, O voluptuous, cool-breathed earth. Earth of the slumbering and liquid trees, earth of departed sunset, earth of the mountains misty-topped, earth of the vitreous pour of the full moon just tinged with blue, earth of shine and dark mottling. The tide of the river, earth of the limpid gray of clouds brighter and clearer for my sake. Far-swooping, elbowed earth, rich, apple-bosomed earth, smile, for your lover comes. Prodigal, you have given me love, therefore I to you give love. Oh, unspeakable, passionate love. Thrust her, holding me tight, and that I hold tight, we hurt each other as the bridegroom and the bride hurt each other. You see, I resign myself to you also. I guess what you mean. I behold from the beach your crooked fingers. I believe you refuse to go back without feeling of me. We must have a turn together. I undress, hurry me out of sight of the land, cushion me soft, rock me in billowy drowse, dash me with amorous wet. I can repay you. Sea of stretched ground swells, sea breathing broad and convulsive breaths, sea of the brine of life and of unshoveled yet always ready graves. Howler and scooper of storms, capricious and dainty sea, I am integral with you. I, too, am of one phase and of all phases. Partaker of influx and efflux, I, extoller of hate and conciliation, extoller of amis and those that sleep in each other's arms. I am he attesting sympathy. Shall I make my list of things in the house and skip the house that supports them? I am not the poet of goodness only. I do not decline to be the poet of wickedness also. What blurt is this about virtue and about vice? Evil propels me, and reform of evil propels me. I stand indifferent. My gate is no fault-finder's or rejecter's gate. I moisten the roots of all that has grown. Did you fear some scrofula out of the unflagging pregnancy? Did you guess the celestial? Did you guess the celestial laws are yet to be worked over and rectified? I find one side a balance, and the antipodal side a balance. Soft doctrine is steady help is stable doctrine. Soft doctrine is steady help is stable doctrine. Thoughts and deeds of the present or our rouse and early start. This minute that comes to me over the past decillions, there is no better than it and now. What behaved well in the past, or behaves well today, is not such wonder. The wonder is always, and always, how there can be a mean man or an infidel. Endless, unfolding words of ages, and mine a word of the modern, the word en masse, a word of the faith that never balks. Here or henceforward, it is all the same to me. I accept time absolutely. It alone is without flaw. It alone rounds and completes all. That mystic, baffling wonder alone completes all. I accept reality, and dare not question it. Materialism first and last imbuing. Hurrah for positive science! Long live exact demonstration! Fetch stonecrop mixed with cedar and branches of lilac. This is the lexicographer. This the chemist. This made a grammar of the old cartouches. These mariners put the ship through dangerous unknown seas. This is the geologist's. This work with the scalper, and this is a mathematician. Gentlemen, to you the first honors always. Your facts are useful, and yet they are not my dwelling. I but enter by them to an area of my dwelling. Less the reminders of properties told my words, and more the reminders they of life untold, and of freedom and extrication, and make short account of neuters and geldings, and favor men and women fully equipped, and beat the gong of revolt, and stop with fugitives and them that plot and conspire. Walt Whitman, a cosmos, a Manhattan, the sun. Turbulent, fleshy, sensual, eating, drinking, breeding, no sentimentalist, no stander above men and women or apart from them, no more modest than immodest. Unscrew the locks from the doors, unscrew the doors themselves from their jambs. Whoever degrades another degrades me, and whatever is done or said returns at last to me. Through me the afflate is surging and surging, through me the current and index. I speak the password primeval. I give the sign of democracy. By God, I will accept nothing which all cannot have their counterpart of on the same terms. Through me, many long dumb voices, voices of the interminable generations of prisoners and slaves, voices of the diseased and despairing, and of thieves and dwarfs, voices of cycles of preparation and accretion, and of the threads that connect the stars, and of wombs, and of the father stuff, and of the rights of them that the others are down upon, of the deformed, trivial, flat, foolish, despised, fog in the air, beetles rolling balls of dung. Through me forbidden voices, voices of sexes and lusts, voices veiled, and I remove the veil, voices indecent, by me clarified and transfigured. I do not press my finger across my mouth. I keep as delicate around the bowels as around the head and heart. Copulation is no more rank to me than death is. I believe in the flesh and the appetites. Seeing, hearing, feeling are miracles, and each part and tag of me is a miracle. Divine am I, inside and out, and I make holy whatever I touch, or am touched from. The scent of these armpits, aroma finer than prayer, this head more than churches, Bibles, and all the creeds. If I worship one thing more than another, it shall be the spread of my own body, or any part of it. Translucent mold of me, it shall be you. Shaded ledges and rests, it shall be you. Firm masculine coulter, it shall be you. Whatever goes to the tilth of me, it shall be you. You, my rich blood, your milky stream, pale strippings of my life, breast that presses against other breasts, it shall be you. My brain, it shall be your occult convolutions, root of washed sweet flag, timorous pond snipe, nest of guarded duplicate eggs, it shall be you. Mixed tousled hay of head, beard, brawn, it shall be you. Trickling sap of maple, fibre of manly wheat, it shall be you. Sun so generous, it shall be you. Vapors lighting and shading my face, it shall be you. You sweaty brooks and dews, it shall be you. Winds whose soft tickling genitals rub against me, it shall be you. Broad muscular fields, branches of live oak, loving lounger in my winding paths, it shall be you. Hands I have taken, face I have kissed, mortal I have ever touched, it shall be you. I dote on myself. There is that lot of me, and all so luscious. Each moment, and whatever happens, thrills me with joy. I cannot tell how my ankles bend, nor whence the cause of my faintest wish, nor the cause of the friendship I omit, nor the cause of the friendship I take again. That I walk up my stoop, I pause to consider if it really be. A morning glory at my window satisfies me more than the metaphysics of books. To behold the daybreak, the little light fades the immense and diaphanous shadows, the air tastes good to my palate. Hefts of the moving world at innocent gambols, silently rising, freshly exuding, scooting obliquely high and low. Something I cannot see puts forward libidinous prongs. Seas of bright juice suffuse heaven. The earth by the sky stayed with the daily close of their junction, the heaved challenge from the east, that moment over my head, the mocking taunt, see then whether you shall be master. Dazzling, tremendous, how quick the sunrise would kill me if I could not now and always send sunrise out of me. We also ascend dazzling and tremendous as the sun. We found our own, oh my soul, in the calm and cool of the daybreak. My voice goes after what my eyes cannot reach. With the twirl of my tongue I encompass worlds and volumes of worlds. Speech is the twin of my vision. It is unequal to measure itself. It provokes me forever. It says sarcastically, "Walt, you contain enough. Why don't you let it out then?" Come now. I will not be tantalized. You conceive too much of articulation. Do you not know, O speech, how the buds beneath you are folded, waiting in gloom, protected by frost, the dirt receding before my prophetical screams? I, underlying causes, to balance them at last. My knowledge, my live parts, it keeping tally with the meaning of all things. Happiness, which whoever hears me, let him or her set out in search of this day. My final merit, I refuse you. I refuse putting from me what I really am. Encompass worlds, but never try to encompass me. I crowd your sleekest and best by simply looking toward you. Writing and talk do not prove me. I carry the plenum of proof and everything else in my face. With the hush of my lips, I wholly confound the skeptic. Now, I will do nothing but listen, to accrue what I hear into this song, to let sounds contribute toward it. I hear bravoras of birds, bustle of growing wheat, gossip of flames, clack of sticks cooking my meals. I hear the sound I love, the sound of the human voice. I hear all sounds running together, combined, fused, or following. Sounds of the city and sounds out of the city. Sounds of the day and night, talkative young ones to those that like them, the loud laugh of work people at their meals, the angry bass of disjointed friendship, the faint tones of the sick, The judge, with hands tight to the desk, his pallid lips pronouncing a death sentence, the heave-o of stevedores unlading ships by the wharves, the refrain of the anchor lifters, the ring of alarm bells, the cry of fire, the whir of swift streaking engines and horse carts with premonitory tinkles and colored lights, the steam whistle, the solid roll of the train of approaching cars, the slow march played at the head of the association, marching two and two. They go to guard some corpse. The flag tops are draped with black muslin. I hear the violoncello. 'Tis the young man's heart's complaint. I hear the keyed cornet. It glides quickly in through my ears. It shakes mad sweet pangs through my belly and breast. I hear the chorus. It is a grand opera. This, indeed, is music. This suits me. A tenor, large and fresh as the creation, fills me. The orbic flex of his mouth is pouring and filling me full. I hear the trained soprano. What work with hers is this? The orchestra whirls me wider than Uranus flies. It wrenches me such ardors from me I did not know I possessed them. It sails me, I dab with bare feet. They are licked by the indolent waves. I am cut by bitter and angry hail. I lose my breath. Steeped amid honeyed morphine, my windpipe throttled in fakes of death, at length let up again to feel the puzzle of puzzles. And that we call being. To be in any form, what is that? Round and round we go, all of us, and ever come back thither. If nothing lay more developed, the quahog in its callous shell were enough. Mine is no callous shell. I have instant conductors all over me. Whether I pass or stop, they seize every object and lead it harmlessly through me. I merely stir, press, feel with my fingers, and am happy. To touch my person to someone else's is about as much as I can stand. Is this, then, a touch? Quivering me to a new identity? Flames and ether making a rush for my veins, treacherous tip of me reaching and crowding to help them, my flesh and blood playing out lightning to strike what is hardly different from myself. On all sides, prurient provokers stiffening my limbs, straining the udder of my heart for its withheld drip, behaving licentious toward me, taking no denial, depriving me of my best as for a purpose, unbuttoning my clothes, holding me by the bare waist, deluding my confusion with the calm of the sunlight and pasture fields, immodestly sliding the fellow senses away. They bribed to swap off with touch and go and graze at the edges of me. No consideration, no regard for my draining strength or my anger, fetching the rest of the herd around to enjoy them a while, then all uniting to stand on a headland and worry me. The sentries desert every other part of me. They have left me helpless to a red marauder. They all come to the headland to witness and assist against me. I am given up by traitors, that I talk wildly. I have lost my wits, and I, and nobody else, am the greatest traitor. I went myself first to the headland. My own hands carried me there. You villain touch! What are you doing? My breath is tight in its throat. Unclench your floodgates. You are too much for me. Blind, loving, wrestling touch, sheathed, hooded, sharp-toothed touch. Did it make you ache so, leaving me? Parting, tracked by arriving, perpetual payment of perpetual loan, rich showering rain in recompense, richer afterward. Sprouts, take and accumulate, stand by the curb, prolific and vital, landscapes, projected, masculine, full-sized and golden. All truths wait in all things. They neither hasten their own delivery nor resist it. They do not need the obstetric forceps of the surgeon. The insignificant is as big to me as any. What is less or more than a touch? Logic and sermons never convince. The damp of the night drives deeper into my soul. Only what proves itself to every man and woman is so. Only what nobody denies is so. A minute, and a drop of me settle my brain. I believe the soggy clods shall become lovers and lamps, and a compend of compends is the meat of a man or a woman. And a summit and flower there is the feeling they have for each other, and they are to branch boundlessly out of that lesson until it becomes omnific. And until one and all shall delight us, and we them. I believe a leaf of grass is no less than the journey work of the stars, and the pismire is equally perfect, and a grain of sand, and the egg of the wren, and the tree toad, and is a chef d'oeuvre, chef d'oeuvre of the highest. Random ambush of French. Thank you, Walt. And the rutting blackberry would adorn the parlors of heaven, and the narrowest hinge in my hand puts to scorn all machinery, and the cow crunching with depressed head surpasses any statue, and a mouse is miracle enough to stagger sextillions of infidels. I find I incorporate nice, coal, long-threaded moss, fruits, grains, esculent roots, and am stuccoed with quadrupeds and birds all over, and have distanced what is behind me for good reasons, but call anything back again when I desire it. In vain the speeding or shyness, in vain the plutonic rocks send their old heat against my approach, in vain the mastodon retreats beneath its own powdered bones, in vain objects stand leagues off and assume manifold shapes, in vain the ocean settling in hollows and the great monsters lying low. In vain the buzzard houses herself with the sky, in vain the snake slides through the creepers and logs, in vain the elk takes to the inner passes of the woods, in vain the razor-billed ox sails for far north to Labrador. I follow quickly. I ascend to the nest in the fissure of the cliff. I think I could turn and live with animals. They're so placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Not one is dissatisfied. Not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So they show their relations to me, and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their possession. I wonder where they get those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them? Myself moving forward then and now and forever, gathering and showing more, always, and with velocity, infinite and omnigenous, and the like of these among them, not too exclusive toward the reachers of my remembrancers. Picking out here one that I love, and now go with him on brotherly terms. A gigantic beauty of a stallion, fresh and responsive to my caresses. Head high in the forehead, wide between the ears, limbs glossy and supple, tail dusting the ground, eyes full of sparkling wickedness, ears finely cut, flexibly moving. His nostrils dilate as my heels embrace him, his well-built limbs tremble with pleasure as we race around and return. I but use you a minute, then I resign you, stallion. Why do I need your paces when I myself outgallop them? Even as I stand or sit, passing faster than you. Space and time, now I see it is true, what I guessed at. What I guessed when I loafed on the grass, what I guessed while I lay alone in my bed, and again as I walked the beach under the paling stars of the morning. My ties and ballasts leave me, my elbows rest in sea gaps, I skirt sierras, my palms cover continents. I am afoot with my vision. Oh, I didn't see that. From the Waste, thank you very much for the Prime sub. I do think you might be the first one of you who's used Prime. So welcome, and enjoy your time here. Thank you very much. Where was I? My ties and ballasts leave me, my elbows rest in sea gaps, I skirt sierras, my palms cover continents. I am afoot with my vision. By the city's quadrangular houses in log huts, camping with lumbermen along the ruts of the turnpike, along the dry gulch and rivulet bed, weeding my onion patch or hosing rows of carrots and parsnips, crossing savannas, trailing in forests, prospecting, gold-digging, girdling the trees of a new purchase, scorched ankle-deep by the hot sand, hauling my boat down the shallow river, where the panther walks to and fro on a limb overhead, where the buck turns furiously at the hunter, where the rattlesnake suns his flabby length on a rock, where the otter is feeding on fish, where the alligator in his tough pimples sleeps by the bayou, where the black bear is searching for roots or honey, where the beaver pats the mud with his paddle-shaped tail, over the growing sugar, over the yellow-flowered cotton plant, over the rice in its low, moist field, over the sharp-peaked farmhouse with its scalloped scum and slender shoots from the gutters, over the western persimmon, over the long-leaved corn, over the delicate blue-flower flax, over the white and brown buckwheat, a hummer and buzzer there with the rest, over the dusky green of the rye as it ripples and shades in the breeze, scaling mountains. Pulling myself cautiously up, holding on by low, scragged limbs, walking the path worn in the grass and beat through the leaves of the brush, where the quail is whistling betwixt the woods and the wheat lot, where the bat flies in the 7th-month eve, where the great gold bug drops through the dark, where the brook puts out of the roots of the old tree and flows to the meadow, where cattle stand and shake away flies with the tremulous shuddering of their hides, where the cheesecloth hangs in the kitchen, where andirons straddle the hearth slab, where cobwebs fall in festoons from the rafters, where trip hammers crash, where the press is whirling its cylinders, wherever the human heart beats with terrible throes under its ribs, where this pear-shaped balloon is floating aloft, floating in it myself, and looking composedly down, where the life car is drawn on the slip noose, where the heat hatches pale green eggs in the dented sand, where the she-whale swims with her calf and never forsakes it, where the steamship trails hindways its long pennant of smoke, where the fin of the shark cuts like a black chip out of the water, where the half-burned brig is riding on unknown currents, where shells grow to her slimy deck, where the dead are corrupting below, where the dense starred flag is borne at the head of the regiments, approaching Manhattan up by the long-stretching island under Niagara, the cataract falling like a veil over my countenance, upon a doorstep, upon the horse block of hard wood outside, upon the racecourse, or enjoying picnics or jigs or a good game of baseball, at he festivals, with blackguard jibes, erotical license, bull dances, drinking, laughter at the cider mill, tasting the sweets of the brown mash, sucking the juice through a straw, at apple peelings, wanting kisses for all the red fruit I find, at musters, beach parties, friendly bees, huskings, house raisings, where the mockingbird sounds his delicious gurgles, cackles, screams, weeps, where the hayrick stands in the barnyard, where the dry stalks are scattered, where the brood cow waits in the hovel, where the bull advances to do his masculine work, where the stud to the mare, where the cock is treading the hen, where the heifers browse, where geese nip their food with short jerks, where sundown shadows lengthen over the limitless and lonesome prairie, where herds of buffalo make a crawling spread of the square miles far and near, where the hummingbird shimmers, where the neck of the long-lived swan is curving and winding, where the laughing gull scoots by the shore, where she laughs her near-human laugh, where beehives range on a gray bench in the garden half hid by the high weeds, where band-necked partridges roost in a ring on the ground with their heads out, where burial coaches enter the arched gates of a cemetery, where winter wolves bark amid wastes of snow and icicled trees, where the yellow-crowned heron comes to the edge of the marsh at night and feeds upon small crabs. Where the splash of swimmers and divers cools the warm noon. Where the katydid works her chromatic reed on the walnut tree over the well. Through patches of citrons and cucumbers with silver-wired leaves, through the salt lick or orange glade or under conical firs, through the gymnasium, through the curtained saloon, where the office or public hall, pleased with the native and pleased with the foreign, pleased with the new and old, pleased with the homely woman as well as the handsome, pleased with the Quakeress, as she puts off her bonnet and talks melodiously, pleased with the tune of the choir or the whitewashed church, pleased with the earnest words of the sweating Methodist preacher, impressed seriously at the camp meeting, looking in at the shop windows of Broadway the whole forenoon, flattening the flesh of my nose on the thick plate glass, wandering the same afternoon with my face turned up to the clouds, or down a lane, or along the beach, my right and left arms round the sides of two friends, and I in the middle. Coming home with the silent and dark-cheeked bush-boy behind me, he rides at the drape of the day, far from the settlements, studying the print of animals' feet, or the moccasin print. By the cot in the hospital, reaching lemonade to a feverish patient, nigh the coffined corpse when all is still, examining with a candle, voyaging to every port to dicker and adventure, hurrying with the modern crowd, as eager and fickle as any, hot toward the one I hate, ready in my madness to knife him solitary at midnight in my backyard, my thoughts gone from me a long while, walking the old hills of Judea with the beautiful, gentle God by my side, speeding through space, speeding through heaven, and the stars are speeding amid the 7 satellites in the broad ring in the diameter of 80,000 miles. Speeding with tailed meteors, throwing fireballs like the rest, carrying the crescent child that carries its own full mother in its belly, storming, enjoying, planning, loving, cautioning, backing and filling, appearing and disappearing. I tread day and night such roads. I visit the orchards of spheres and look at the product. I look at quintillions ripened and look at quintillions green. Fly those flights of a fluid and swallowing soul, my course runs below the soundings of plummets. I help myself to material and immaterial. No guard can shut me off, no law prevents me. I anchor my ship for a little while only. My messengers continually cruise away or bring their returns to me. I go hunting polar furs and the seal, leaping chasms with a pike-pointed staff, clinging to topples of brittle and blue. I ascend to the foretruck. I take my place late at night in the crow's nest. We sail the Arctic Sea. It is plenty light enough. Through the clear atmosphere I stretch around on the wonderful beauty. The enormous masses of ice pass me, and I pass them. The scenery is plain in all directions. The white-topped mountains show in the distance. I fling out my fancies toward them, and we are approaching some great battlefield in which we are soon to be engaged. We pass the colossal outpost of the encampment. We pass with still feet and caution, or we are entering by the suburbs some vast and ruined city, the blocks and fallen architecture more than all the living cities of the globe. I am a free companion. I bivouac by invading watchfires. I turn the bridegroom out of bed and stay with the bride myself. I tighten her all night to my thighs and lips. My voice is the wife's voice, the screech by the rail of the stars, the fetch my man's body up dripping and drowned. I understand the large hearts of heroes, the courage of present times and all times. How the skipper saw the crowded and rudderless wreck of the steamship, and death chasing it up and down the storm. How he knuckled tight and gave not back an inch, and was faithful of days and faithful of nights. And chalked in large letters on a board, "Be of good cheer. We will not desert you." How he followed with them and tacked with them 3 days and would not give it up. How he saved the drifting company at last. How the lank, loose-gowned women looked when booted from the side of their prepared graves. How the silent, old-faced infants and the lifted sick and the sharp-lipped, unshaven men, all this I swallow. It tastes good. I like it well. It becomes mine. I am the man. I suffered. I was there. I disdain the disdain and calmness of martyrs, the mother of old, condemned for a witch, burned with dry wood, her children gazing on, the hounded slave that flags in the race, leans by the fence, blowing, covered with sweat, the twinges that sting like needles his legs and neck, the murderous buckshot and the bullets. All these I feel, or am. I am the hounded slave. I wince at the bite of the dogs. Hell and despair are upon me. Crack and again crack the marksman. I clutch the rails of the fence. My gore dribs, thinned with the ooze of my skin. I fall on the weeds and stones. The riders spur their unwilling horses, haul close, taunt my dizzy ears, and beat me violently over the head with whipstocks. Agonies are one of my changes of garments. I do not ask the wounded person how he feels. I myself become the wounded person. My hearts turn livid upon me as I lean on a cane and observe. I am the mashed fireman, with breastbone broken, tumbling walls buried me in their debris, heat and smoke I inspired. I heard the yelling shouts of my comrades. I heard the distant click of their picks and shovels. They have cleared the beams away. They tenderly lift me forth. I lie in the night air in my red shirt. The pervading hush is for my sake. Painless after all, I lie exhausted, but not so unhappy. White and beautiful are the faces around me. The heads are bared of their fire caps. The kneeling crowd fades with the light of the torches. Distant and dead resuscitate. They show as the dial or move as the hands of me. I am the clock myself. I am an old artillerist. I tell of my fort's bombardment. I am there again. Again the long roll of the drummers. Again the tacking cannon mortars. Again to my listening ears the cannon responsive. I take part. I see and hear the whole. The cries, curses, roar, the plaudits for well-aimed shots. The ambulanza slowly passing, trailing its red drip. Workmen searching after damages, making indispensable repairs. The fall of grenades through the rent roof. The fan-shaped explosion. The whiz of limbs, heads, stone, wood, iron, high in the air. Again gurgles the mouth of my dying general. He furiously waves with his hand. He gasps through the clot. Mind not me, mind the entrenchments. Holy shit. Okay, that was all one verse, one segment. It was like, what, 3 pages of non-stop? Good Lord, Walt. But it was poignant. All that so far has been empathy, sympathy, everything, all rolled into one. The idea that a person, a man, a woman, all of the above, is the world, is of the world, is everything bundled into one. The shared lived experience. It doesn't matter where you're coming from, where you're going, what you are, what you've been. We're all in this together. at all times throughout history. So, you may not understand your neighbor, you may not understand your brother, but you don't need to understand. We're all one and the same. Again, I am stricken by how optimistic all this work is. Walt is coming from a place of having to hide who he is throughout his life. At the time, this is in the mid-1800s, it wasn't really accepted to be gay or panamorous or whatever your orientation may be or interpretation of what Walt is. It wasn't normal, and as such, it wasn't safe. But despite that, despite growing up, keeping everything in, and hiding the true essence of his humanity, he still is able to pour forth the emotion, the feelings, the ideas, everything onto the page. He's not ashamed of what he is. He's comfortable in everything. That's really all we can ever ask for, is to be comfortable in ourselves. Exactly. Well, what other option is there? If you're not comfortable in yourself, you can't be comfortable in anything. And that's a struggle that everyone has to manage personally. No one can do it for you. If you can't become comfortable in yourself, no one can snap their fingers and make you comfortable. That's a conclusion everyone needs to reach on their own. But that doesn't make it any less appreciable and profound when you come across someone who has it so very well together. Very impressed. And very happy that we stumbled upon this one. I know we were searching for an appropriate reading for Pride Month, and as is rather obvious, it can be rather difficult to find anything in the public domain that is either by an openly LGBT author or is generally accepted to be very, very coded as such. But, I mean, that's 100 years back. It's understandable. But, so there aren't a whole ton of choices. We're not with a glut of options here. But even so, this is profound and uplifting and optimistic, and for as bad as things look as you look around today for current events, things going on in the world, and just a general vibe check, it's good to find someone who is so optimistic. It sort of knocks off some of the jading that you've got. And think, okay, they probably had it tougher than me, and still is looking upward, looking forward, with bright eyes, trying to find the shining city on the hill. So why can't I? Alright, let's try and get through at least another verse or so before we have to break. We've got about 5 minutes or so. So, let's continue. Now, I tell what I knew in Texas in my early youth. I tell not the fall of Alamo, not one escaped to tell the fall of Alamo. The 150 are dumb yet at Alamo. Dumb isn't quiet. 'Tis the tale of the murder in cold blood of 412 young men. Retreating, they had formed in a hollow square with their baggage for breastworks, 900 lives out of the surrounding enemies, 9 times their number was the price they took in advance. Their colonel was wounded and their ammunition gone. They treated for an honorable capitulation, received writing and seal, gave up their arms, and marched back prisoners of war. They were the glory of the race of rangers, matchless with horse, rifle, song, supper, courtship, large, turbulent, generous, handsome, proud, affectionate, bearded, sunburnt, dressed in the free costume of hunters, not a single one over 30 years of age. The first day morning, they were brought out in squads and massacred. It was beautiful early summer. The work commenced around 5 o'clock and was over by 8. None obeyed the command to kneel. Some made a mad and helpless rush. Some stood stark and straight. A few fell at once, shot in the temple or heart. The living and dead lay together. The maimed and mangled dug in the dirt. The newcomers saw them there. Some, half killed, attempted to crawl away. These were dispatched with bayonets or battered with the blunts of muskets. A youth not 17 years old seized his assassin, till 2 more came to release him. The 3 were all torn and covered with the boy's blood. At 11 o'clock began the burning of the bodies. That is the tale of the murder of the 412 young men. A bit of a divergence of storytelling there, Walt. Would you hear of an old-time sea fight? Would you learn who won by the light of the moon and stars? List to the yarn, as my grandfather's father, the sailor, told it to me. Our foe was no skulk in his ship, I tell you, said he. His was the surly English pluck, and there is no tougher or truer, and never was and never will be. Along the lowered eve he came, horribly raking us. We closed with him, the yards entangled, the cannon touched, my captain lashed fast with his own hands. We had received some 18-pound shots under the water. On our lower gun deck, 2 large pieces had burst at the first fire, killing all around and blowing up overhead. Fighting at sundown, fighting at dark, 10 o'clock at night, the full moon well up, our leaks on the gain, and 5 feet of water reported. The master-at-arms loosing the prisoners confined in the afterhold to give them a chance for themselves. The transit to and from the magazine is now stopped by the sentinels. They see so many strange faces they do not know whom to trust. Our frigate takes fire. The other asks if we demand quarter, if our colors are struck and the fighting done. Now I laugh content, for I hear the voice of my little captain. We have not struck, he composedly cries. We have just begun our part of the fighting. Only 3 guns are in use. 1 is directed by the captain himself against the enemy's main mast. 2, well served with grape and canister, silence his musketry and clear his decks. The tops alone second the fire of this little battery, especially the maintop. They hold out bravely during the whole of the action, not a moment's cease. The leaks gain fast on the pumps. The fire eats toward the powder magazine. One of the pumps has been shot away. It is generally thought we are sinking. Serene stands the little captain. He is not hurried. His voice is neither high nor low. His eyes give more light to us than our battle lanterns. Toward 12, there, in the beams of the moon, they surrender to us. All right, we've got ads kicking on in about a minute, so let's take a short pause here. We'll pick up at the next verse when we come back. That last verse, that last stretch, does make me realize I need to go back and watch Master and Commander again. Something about that era of naval combat is just enthralling. And when told well, it can be a very good story. All right, so we've got ads kicking off, so we're going to step aside for take a short break, because I never want anyone to miss any of the reading for want of ads. I'm never going to ask for a subscription. So, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Take a short time to stand up, stretch your legs, top up your drinks, attend to your fuzzy friends, and we'll be back in just a little while. All right, we are back. So let's resume from where we left off with verse 36. We're a good way into Song of Myself, the third book in Whitman's Leaves of Grass. We've gotten through a lot of the all-inclusiveness and universality of experience, and now we're kind of going through stories of the past. Stretched and still lies the midnight, two great holes motionless on the breast of the darkness. Our vessel riddled and slowly sinking, preparations to pass to the one we have conquered. The captain on the quarterdeck coldly giving his orders through a countenance white as a sheet. Nearby, the corpse of the child that served in the cabin, the dead face of an old salt with long white hair and carefully curled whiskers. The flames, spite of all that can be done, flickering aloft and below. The husky voices of the 2 or 3 officers yet fit for duty, formless stacks of bodies and bodies by themselves, dabs of flesh. Get out of here, bot. Dabs of flesh upon the masts and spars. Out of cordage, cut of cordage, dangle of rigging, slight shock of the soothe of waves, black and impassive guns, litter of powder parcels, strong scent, a few large stars overhead, silent and mournful shining, delicate sniffs of sea breeze, smells of sedgy grass and fields, by the shore the death messages, given in charge to survivors. The hiss of the surgeon's knife, the gnawing teeth of his saw, a wheeze, cluck, swash of falling blood, short, wild scream and long, dull tapering groan. These irretrievable. You laggards there on guard, look to your arms. In at the conquered doors they crowd. I am possessed. Embody all presences outlawed or suffering. See myself in prison shaped like another man, and feel the dull, unintermitted pain. For me, the keepers of convicts shoulder their carbines and keep watch. It is I, let out in the morning and barred at night. Not a mutineer walks handcuffed to jail, but I am handcuffed to him and walk by his side. I am less the jolly one there, and more the silent one with sweat on my twitching lips. Not a youngster is taken for larceny, but I go up too, and am tried and sentenced. Not a cholera patient lies in the last gasp, but I also lie at the last gasp. My face is ash-colored, my sinews gnarl, and away from me people retreat. Askers embody themselves in me, and I am embodied in them. I project my hat, sit shame-faced, and beg. Enough, enough, enough! Somehow I have been stunned. Stand back! Give me a little time beyond my cuffed head. Slumbers, dreams, gaping. I discover myself on the verge of a usual mistake. That I could forget the mockers and insults, that I could forget the trickling tears and the blows of the bludgeons and hammers. that I could look with a separate look on my own crucifixion and bloody crowning. I remember now. I presume the overstayed fraction, the grave of rock multiplies what has been confided to it, or to any graves. Corpses rise, gashes heal, fastenings roll from me. I troop forth replenished with supreme power. One of an average unending procession, inland and sea coast we go, and pass all boundary lines. Our swift ordinances on their way over the whole earth, the blossoms we wear in our hats, the growth of thousands of years. Elevis, I salute you. Come forward. Continue your annotations, continue your questionings. The friendly and flowing savage, who is he? Is he waiting for civilization, or past it, and mastering it? Is he some Southwesterner, raised outdoors? Is he Canadian? Is he from the Mississippi country, Iowa, Oregon, California, the mountains, prairie life, bush life, or sailor from the sea? Wherever he goes, men and women accept and desire him. They desire he should like them, touch them, speak to them, stay with them. Behavior lawless as snowflakes, words as simple as grass, uncombed head, laughter and naivete. Slow-stepping feet, common features, common modes and emanations, they descend in new forms from the tips of his fingers. They are wafted with the odor of his body or breath. They fly out of the glance of his eyes. Flaunt of the sunshine, I need not your basque lie over. You light surfaces only, I force surfaces and depths also. Earth, you seem to look for something at my hands. Say, old Topknot, what do you want? Man or woman, I might tell how I like you, but I cannot. And might tell what it is in me and what it is in you, but I cannot. And might tell that pining I have, that pulse of my nights and days. Behold, I do not give lectures or a little charity. When I give myself. You there, impotent, loosen the knees, open your scarfed chops till I blow grit within you, spread your palms and lift the flaps of your pockets. I am not to be denied, I compel. I have stores plenty and to spare, and anything I have I bestow. I do not ask who you are. That is not important to me. You can do nothing and be nothing but what I will enfold you. To Cottonfield drudge or cleaner of privies, I lean on his right cheek, and I put the family kiss. And in my soul I swear I never will deny him. On woman, fit for conception, I start bigger and nimbler babes. This day I am jetting the stuff of far more arrogant republics. To anyone dying, thither I speed and twist the knob of the door, turn the bedclothes toward the foot of the bed, let the physician and the priest go home. I seize the descending man and raise him with resistless will. O despairer, here is my neck. By God, you shall not go down. I hang your whole weight upon me. I dilate you with tremendous breath. I buoy you up. Every room of the house do I fill with an armed force. Lovers of me, bafflers of graves, sleep. I and they keep guard all night. Not doubt, not decease shall dare to lay finger upon you. I have embraced you, and henceforth possess you to myself. And when you rise in the morning, you will find that I tell you is so. Find what I tell you so. I am he, bringing help for the sick as they pant on their backs. And for strong, upright men I bring yet more needed help. I heard what was said of the universe. Heard it and heard it of several thousand years. It is middling. Well, as far as it goes, but is that all? Magnifying and applying come I, outbidding at the start the old cautious hucksters, taking myself the exact dimensions of Jehovah, lithographing Kronos, Zeus, his son, and Hercules, his grandson, buying drafts of Osiris, Isis, Belus, Brahma, Buddha, in my portfolio placing Manito loose, Allah on a leaf, the crucifix engraved with Odin, and the hideous-faced Mexitli, and every idol and Mexicli, and every idol and image, taking them all for what they are worth and not a cent more. Admitting they were alive and did the work of their days, they bore mites as for unfledged birds who have now to rise and fly and sing for themselves, accepting the rough deific sketches to fill out better in myself, bestowing them freely on each man and woman I see, discovering as much or more in a framer framing a house, putting higher claims for him there with his rolled-up sleeves, driving the mallet and chisel, not objecting to special revelations, considering a curl of smoke or a hair on the back of my hand just as curious as any revelation. Lads ahold of fire engines and hook and ladder ropes no less to me than the gods of the ancient wars, or the antique wars. Minding their voices peal through the crash of destruction, their brawny limbs passing safe over charred lathes, their white foreheads whole and unhurt out of the flames, by the mechanic's wife with her babe at her nipple interceding for every person born, 3 scythes at harvest whizzing in a row from 3 lusty angels with shirts bagged out at their waists, the snag-toothed hostler with red hair redeeming sins past and to come, selling all he possesses, traveling on foot to fee lawyers for his brother and sit by him whilst he is tried for forgery. What was strewn in the amplest strewing, the square rod about me, and not filling the square rod then, the bull and the bug never worshipped half enough. Dung and dirt, more admirable than was dreamed, that supernatural of no account, myself waiting my time to be one of the supremes. The day getting ready for me when I shall do as much good as the best, and be as prodigious by my life lumps, becoming already a creator, putting myself here and now to the ambushed womb of the shadows. A call in the midst of the crowd, my own voice, orotund, sweeping and final. Come, my children, come, my boys and girls, my women, household and intimates. Now the performer launches his nerve, his past his prelude on the reeds within. Easily written loose-fingered chords, I feel the thrum of your climaxing close. My head slews round, on my neck music rolls, but not from the organ. Folks are around me, but they are no household of mine. Ever the hard, unsunk ground, ever the eaters and drinkers, ever the upward and downward sun, ever the air and the ceaseless tides, ever myself and my neighbors refreshing, wicked, real, ever the old inexplicable query, ever that thorn thumb, that breath of itches and thirsts, ever the vexer's hoot, hoot till we find where the sly one hides and bring him forth, ever love, ever the sobbing liquid of life, ever the bandage under the chin, ever the trestles of death. Here and there, with dimes on the eyes walking, to feed the greed of the belly, the brains liberally spooning, tickets buying, taking, selling, but in the feast never once going. Many sweating, plowing, thrashing, and then the chaff for payment, receiving, a few idly owning, and they, the wheat continually claiming. This is the city, and I am one of the citizens. Whatever interests the rest interests me. Politics, wars, markets, newspapers, schools, the mayor and councils, banks, tariffs, steamships, factories, stock, stores, real estate, and personal estate. The little plentiful mannequins skipping around in collars and tailed coats, I am aware who they are. They are positively not worms or fleas. I acknowledge the duplicates of myself. The weakest and shallowest is deathless to me. What I do and say, the same waits for them. Every thought that flounders in me, the same flounders in them. I know perfectly well my own egotism, know my omnivorous lines, and must not write any less, and would fetch you, whoever you are, flush with myself. Not words of routine, this song of mine, but abruptly to question, to leap beyond, yet nearer bring this printed and bound book, but the printer and the printing office boy? the well-taken photographs, but your wife, a close friend, and solid in your arms. The black ship mailed with iron, her mighty guns and her turrets, but the pluck of the captain and the engineers. In the houses, the dish and fare and furniture, but the host and hostess and the look out of their eyes. The sky up there, yet here or next door or across the way. The saints and sages in history, but you yourself. Sermons, creeds, theology, but the fathomless human brain. And what is reason? What is love? And what is life? I do not despise you, priests. All time, the world over, my faith is the greatest of faiths, and the least of faiths. Enclosing worship, ancient and modern, and all between ancient and modern, believing I shall come again upon the earth after 5,000 years. Waiting responses from oracles, honoring the gods, saluting the sun, making a fetish of the first rock or stump. Powwowing with sticks in the circle of obis, helping the lama or brahmin as he trims the lamps of the idols. Dancing, yet through the streets in a phallic procession, wrapped and austere in the woods of a gymnosophist. Drinking mead from the skullcap, to Shastas and Vedas admirant, minding the Quran, walking the Teoculus, spotted with gore from the stone and knife, beating the serpent skin drum, accepting the Gospels, accepting him that was crucified, knowing assuredly that he is divine. To the Mass kneeling, or the Puritan's prayer rising, or sitting patiently in a pew, ranting and frothing in my insane crisis, or waiting dead-like, till my spirit arouses me, looking forth on pavement and land, or outside of pavement and land, belonging to the winders of the circuit of circuits. One of that centripetal and centrifugal gang, I turn and talk like man leaving charges before a journey. Downhearted doubters, dull and excluded, frivolous, sullen, moping, angry, affected, disheartened, atheistical, I know every one of you. I know the sea of torment, doubt, despair, and unbelief. How the flukes splash, how they contort rapid as lightning, with spasms and spouts of blood. Be at peace, bloody flukes of doubters and sullen mopers. I take my place among you, as much as among any. The past is the push of you, me, all precisely the same. And what is yet untried and afterward is for you, me, all precisely the same. I do not know what is untried and afterward, but I know it will, in its turn, prove sufficient, and cannot fail. Each who passes is considered, each who stops is considered, not single one can it fall. It cannot fall the young man who died and was buried, nor the young woman who died and was put by his side, nor the little child that peeped in at the door and then drew back and was never seen again, nor the old man who has lived without purpose and feels it with bitterness worse than gall, nor him in the poorhouse tuberculed by the rum and the bad disorder, nor the numberless slaughtered and wrecked, nor the brutish kobu called the ordure of humanity, nor the sacks merely floating with open mouths for food to slip in, nor anything in the earth or down in the oldest graves of the earth, nor anything in the myriads of spheres, nor the myriads of myriads that inhabit them, nor the present, nor the least wisp that is known. It is time to explain myself. Let us stand up. What is known I strip away. I launch all men and women forward with me into the unknown. The clock indicates the moment, but what does eternity indicate? We have thus far exhausted trillions of winters and summers. There are trillions ahead and trillions ahead of them. Births have brought us richness and variety, and other births will bring us richness and variety. I do not call one greater and one smaller. That which fills its period and place is equal to any. Were mankind murderous or jealous upon you, my brother, my sister, I am sorry for you. They are not murderous or jealous upon me. All has been gentle with me. I keep no account with lamentation. What have I to do with lamentation? I am an acme of all things accomplished. I an encloser of things to be. My feet strike an apex of the apices of the stairs. On every step, bunches of ages and larger bunches between the steps, all below duly traveled. And still I mount and mount, rise after rise bow the phantoms behind me. Far down I see the huge first nothing. I know I was even there. I waited unseen and always, and slept through the lethargic mist, and took my time, and took no hurt from the fetid carbon. Long I was hugged close, long and long. Immense have been the preparations for me. Faithful and friendly the arms that have helped me. Cycles ferried my cradle, rowing and rowing like cheerful boatmen. For room to me stars kept aside in their own rings. They sent influences to look after what was to hold me. Before I was born out of my mother, generations guided me. My embryo has never been torpid. Nothing could overlay it. For it, the nebula cohered to an orb. The long, slow strata piled to rest it on. Vast vegetables gave it sustenance. Monstrous sauroids transported it in their mouths and deposited it with care. All forces have been steadily employed to complete and delight me. Now, on this spot, I stand with my robust soul. Oh, span of youth, ever pushed elasticity, oh, manhood, balanced and florid and full, my lovers suffocate me, crowding my lips thick in the pores of my skin, jostling me through the streets and public halls, coming naked to me at night, crying by day, ahoy, from the rocks of the river, swinging and chirping over my head, calling my name from flower beds, vines, tangled underbrush, lighting on every moment of my life, bussing my body with soft balsamic busses, noiselessly passing handfuls out of their hearts and giving them to be mine. Old age superbly rising, oh welcome, ineffable grace of dying days. Every condition promulges not only itself, it promulges what grows after and out of itself, and the dark hush promulges as much as any. I open my scuttle at night and see the far-sprinkled systems, and all I see multiplied as high as I can cipher edge but the rim of the farther systems. Wider and wider they spread, expanding, always expanding. Outward and forever outward, my sun has his sun, and round him obediently wheels. He joins with his partners a group of superior circuit, and greater sets follow, making specks of the greatest inside them. There is no stoppage, and never can be stoppage. If I, you, and the worlds, and all beneath or upon their surfaces were this moment reduced back to a pallid float, it would not avail the long run. We should surely bring up again where we now stand, and surely go as much farther, and then farther and farther, a few quadrillions of eras, a few octillions of cubic leagues. Do not hazard the span, or make it impatient. They are but parts. Anything is but a part. See, ever so far, there is limitless space outside of that. Count ever so much, there is limitless time around that. My rendezvous is appointed. It is certain. The Lord will be there and wait till I come on perfect terms. The great camarado, the lover true for whom I pine, will be there. I know I have the best of time and space, and was never measured and never will be measured. I tramp a perpetual journey. Come, listen all. My signs are a rainproof coat, good shoes, and a staff cut from the woods. No friend of mine takes his ease in my chair. I have no chair, no church, no philosophy. I lead no man to a dinner table, library, exchange, but each man and each woman of you I lead upon a knoll. My left hand hooking you round the waist, my right hand pointing to landscapes of continents and the public road. Not I. Not anyone else can travel that road for you. You must travel it for yourself. It is not far. It is within reach. Perhaps you have been on it since you were born and did not know. Perhaps it is everywhere, on water and on land. Shoulder your duds, dear son, and I will mine. And let us hasten forth. Wonderful cities and free nations we shall fetch as we go. If you tire, give me both burdens, and rest the chuff of your hand on my hip, and in due time you shall repay the same service to me. For after we start, we never lie by again. This day, before dawn, I ascended a hill and looked at the crowded heaven, and I said to my spirit, when we became the enfolders of those orbs, and of the pleasure and knowledge of everything in them, shall we be filled and satisfied then? And my spirit said, no, we but level that lift to pass and continue beyond. You are also asking me questions, and I hear you. I answer that I cannot answer. You must find out for yourself. Sit a while, dear son. Here are biscuits to eat, and here is milk to drink. But as soon as you sleep and renew yourself in sweet clothes, I kiss you with a goodbye kiss, and open the gate for your egress hence. Long enough have you dreamed contemptible dreams. Now I wash the gum from your eyes. You must habit yourself to the dazzle of the light and of every moment of your life. Long have you timidly waited holding a plank by the shore. Now I will you to be a bold swimmer, to jump off in the midst of the sea, rise again, nod to me, shout, and laughingly dash with your hair. I am the teacher of athletes. He that by me spreads a wider breast than my own proves the width of my own. He most honors my style who learns under it to destroy the teacher. The boy I love, the same, becomes a man not through derived power, but in his own right, wicked rather than virtuous, out of conformity or fear, fond of his sweetheart, relishing well his stake, unrequited love or a slight, cutting him worse than sharp steel cuts. First rate to ride, to fight, to hit the bullseye, to sail a skiff, to sing a song or play on the banjo, preferring scars in the beard and faces pitted with smallpox or all latherers, and those well tanned, to those that keep out of the sun. I teach straying from me. Yet who can stray from me? I follow you, whoever you are, from that present hour. My words itch in your ears till you understand them. I do not say these things for $1 or to fill up the time while I wait for a boat. It is you talking just as much as myself. I act as the tongue of you. Tied in your mouth, in mine it begins to be loosened. I swear, I will never again mention love or death inside a house, and I swear I will never translate myself at all, only to him or her who privately stays with me in the open air. If you would understand me, go to the heights or water shore. The nearest gnat is an explanation, and a drop or motion of waves key. The maul, the oar, the handsaw second my words. No shuttered room or school can commune with me, but roughs and little children better than they. The young mechanic is closest to me. He knows me well. The woodman that takes his axe and jug with him shall take me with him all day. The farm boy plowing the field feels good at the sound of my voice. In vessels that sail, my words sail. I go with fishermen and seamen and love them. The soldier camped or upon the march is mine. On the night, ere the pending battle, many seek me, and I do not fail them. On that solemn night, it may be their last. Those that know me seek me. My face rubs to the hunter's face when he lies down alone in his blanket. The driver, thinking of me, does not mind the jolt of his wagon. The young mother and old mother comprehend me. The girl and the wife rest the needle a moment and forget where they are. They and all would resume what I have told them. I have said that the soul is not more than the body, and I have said that the body is not more than the soul, and nothing, not God, is greater to one than one's self is. And whoever walks a furlong without sympathy walks to his own funeral dressed in his shroud. And I, or you, pocketless of a dime, may purchase the pick of the earth, and to glance with an eye or show a bean in its pad confounds the learning of all times. There is no trade or employment, but the young man following it may become a hero. And there is no object so soft, but it makes a hub for the wheeled universe. And I say to any man or woman, let your soul stand cool and composed before 1,000,000 universes. And I say to mankind, be not curious about God, for I, who am curious about each, am not curious about God. No array of terms can say how much I am at peace about God and about death. I hear and behold God in every object, yet understand God not in the least. Nor do I understand who there can be more wonderful than myself. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of God every hour of the 24, and each moment then, in the faces of men and women, I see God. In my own face, in the glass, I find letters from God draped in the street, and every one is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are, for I know that wheresoever I go, others will punctually come, forever and ever. And as to you, death, you, a bitter hug of mortality, it is idle to try to alarm me. To his work, without flinching, the accoucheur comes. I see the elder hand pressing, receiving, supporting. I recline by the sills of the exquisite flexible doors, and mark the outlet, and mark the relief and escape. And as to you, corpse, I think you are good manure, but that does not offend me. I smell the white roses, sweet-scented and growing. I reach to the leafy lips. I reach to the polished breasts of melons. And as to you, life, I reckon you are the leavings of many deaths. No doubt I have died myself 10,000 times before. I hear you whispering, there, O stars of heaven, O suns, O grass, O of graves, O perpetual transfers and promotions. If you do not say anything, how can I say anything? Of the turbid pool that lies in the autumn forest, of the moon that descends the steeps of the soughing twilight. Toss, sparkles, day, and dusk toss on the black stems that decay in the muck. Toss to the moaning gibberish of the dry limbs. I ascend from the moon. I ascend from the night. I perceive that the ghastly glimmer is noonday sunbeams reflected and debauched to the steady and central from the offspring great or small. There is that in me. I do not know what it is, but I know it is in me. Wrenched and sweaty, calm and cool, then my body becomes. I sleep long. I do not know it. It is without name. It is a word unsaid. It is not in any dictionary, utterance, symbol. Something. It swings on more than the earth I swing on. To it, the creation is the friend whose embracing awakes me. Perhaps I might tell more outlines. I plead for my brothers and sisters. Do you see, oh my brothers and sisters? It is not chaos or death, it is form, union, plan, it is eternal life, it is happiness. The past and present wilt, I have filled them, emptied them, and proceed to fill my next fold of the future. Listener up there, what have you confided to me? Look in my face while I snuff the sidle of evening. Talk honestly, no one else hears you, and I stay only a minute longer. Do I contradict myself? Very well then, I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes. I concentrate toward them that are nigh. I wait on the door slab. Who has done his day's work? Who will soonest be through with his supper? Who wishes to walk with me? Will you speak before I am gone? Will you prove already too late? The spotted hawk swoops by and accuses me. He complains of my gab and my loitering. I, too, am not a bit tamed. I, too, am untranslatable. I sound my barbaric yawp over the roofs of the world. The last scud of day holds back for me. It flings my likeness after the rest, and true as any on the shadowed wilds, it coaxes me to the vapor and the dusk. I depart as air. I shake my white locks at the runaway sun. I effuse my flesh in eddies and drift it in lacy jags. I bequeath myself to the dirt to grow from the grass I love. If you want me again, look for me under your boot soles. You will hardly know who I am or what I mean, but I shall be good health to you nevertheless, and filter and fiber your blood. Failing to fetch me at first, keep encouraged. Missing me one place, search another. I stop somewhere, waiting for you. All right, that brings us to the end of Book 3 of Leaves of Grass, Song of Myself. That one was one hell of a doozy, but it's so evocative. I know, so a lot of our complaints when we were reading Thoreau, who is a relative contemporary to Whitman, he was preachy, he was holier than thou, he was talking down to his readers, thinking that his way of life is the only way of life. But Whitman is none of that. Yes, he's saying how great life is, but it's not because his way of life is better. It's that he is one and the same with everything, everyone. The universe is within and without. So he's not saying that any particular way is better. He's not saying that he is better, that the holier than thou is not to be found here. It's that everything, everyone is valid and has value because we're all part of the same fabric of the universe. Absolutely fantastic that this was put together, put to pen in the mid-1800s. Like, this point of view is, to call it refreshing, is an affront. It is just fantastic. And given that last chapter, I am absolutely positive, assured even, that this has landed itself on a banned book list somewhere. Somewhere, somehow, sometime or other. And now I'm actually going to look that up. Oh yeah, definitely. It's been banned all over the place. Oh wow, it's been banned for a long time in a lot of places. Good lord. Yeah, the people who ban books don't read them. Chances are, the people who ban books can't read them. Fucking Luddites. Yeah, so wow. He lost his job at the Department of the Interior after the supervisor found a copy of the book. Good lord. Okay, wow. So, I know we've read a lot of banned books in our time. In fact, I kind of go out of my way to find banned books, because no book should be banned. But despite that, this is one that, as you're reading it, you can tell, like, oh yeah, this was definitely banned at some point. All right, we've got about 20 minutes yet, and this next one is quite a bit shorter. Ah, fair. Luddites, I'm sorry to the Luddites. You may have been on the wrong side of history, but you didn't deserve that. All right, so let's continue. Let's get a little bit more into tonight. We've moved past. I think Song of Myself is the longest of these. Let's take a look at the table of contents. Oh yeah, everything else is much shorter. Not even close. Not even remotely close. As we're looking through the that one's about 10. That's the most I've seen now. Yeah, so I think everything else that we're reading for the rest of this book is going to be a lot more bite-sized. You know what? It always comes back to the capitalists. Always comes back. Gotta ruin everything, don't they? All right, let's continue. Otherwise, we will get sidetracked in subversive communist banter. Much as I love subversive communist banter, I do have, you know, something of a schedule. I would like to get through some of this book. All right, Book 4, Children of Adam. To the garden, the world. To the garden, the world anew ascending, potent mates, daughters, sons preluding, the love, the life of their bodies, meaning and being. Curious here, behold my resurrection after slumber. The revolving cycles in their wide sweep having brought me again, amorous, mature, all beautiful to me, all wondrous. My limbs and the quivering fire that ever plays through them for reasons most wondrous. Existing I peer, and I peer and penetrate still, content with the present, content with the past, by my side or back of me, Eve following or in front, and I following her, just the same. From pent-up, aching rivers, oh my. From pent-up, aching rivers, from that of myself without which I were nothing, from what I am determined to make illustrious, even if I stand sole among men, from my own voice resonant, singing the phallus, singing the song of procreation, singing the need of superb children, and therein superb grown people, singing the muscular urge and the blending, singing the bedfellow song, oh, resistless yearning, oh, for any and each the body correlative attracting, oh, for you, whoever you are, your correlative body, oh, it, more than all else, you delighting. That's a very good way to put just a love is love, the correlating body, correlating attracting. Do you, the people that you're attracted to, correlative attracting. The body that is compatible, correlative body. I like that. From the hungry gnaw that eats me night and day, from native moments, from bashful pain, singing them, seeking something yet unfound, though I have diligently sought it many a long year, singing the true song of the soul, fitful at random, renascent, with grossest nature, or among animals. Of that, of them, and what goes with them, my poems informing, of the smell of apples and lemons, of the pairing of birds, of the wet of woods, of the lapping of waves, of the mad pushes of waves upon the land, I then chanting, the overture lightly sounding, the strain anticipating, the welcome nearness, the sight of the perfect body, the swimmer swimming naked in bath, or motionless on his back, lying and floating, the female form approaching, I pensive, love flesh tremulous, aching, the divine list for myself or you, or far of any one making, the face, the limbs, the index from head to foot, and what it arouses, the mystic deliria, the madness amorous, the utter abandonment, are close and still, but I now whisper to you, I love you, almost entirely possess me. Oh, that you and I escape from the rest and go utterly off, free and lawless. 2 hawks in the air, 2 fishes swimming in the sea, not more lawless than we. The furious storm through me careering, I passionately trembling, the oath of the inseparableness of 2 together, of the woman that loves me and whom I love more than my life, that oath swearing, oh, I willingly stake all for you. Oh, let me be lost if it must be so. Oh, you and I, what it is to us, what the rest do or think, what is all else to us, only that we enjoy each other and exhaust each other if it must be so. From the master, the pilot, I yield the vessel to the general, commanding me, commanding all, from him permission taking. From time the program hastening, I have loitered too long as it is. From sex, from the warp and from the woof, from privacy, from frequent repinings alone, from plenty of persons near, and yet the right person not near, from the soft sliding of hands over me and thrusting of fingers through the hair of my beard, from the long sustained kiss upon the mouth or bosom, from the close pressure that makes me or any man drunk, fainting with excess, from what the divine husband knows, from the work of fatherhood, from exultation, victory, and relief, from the bedfellow's embrace in the night, from the act poems of eyes, hands, hips, and bosoms, from the cling of the trembling arm, from the bending curve and the clinch, from the side by side, the pliant coverlet off throwing, from the one so unwilling to have me leave, and me just as unwilling to leave, yet a moment, O tender waiter, and I return, from the hour of shining stars and dropping dews, from the night, a moment, I emerging, flitting out, celebrate you, act divine, and you children prepared for it, you stalwart loins. All right. That brings us to the next chapter, poem selection. I Sing the Body Electric. However, unfortunately, I don't think we have enough time to really do it justice. We've got we've got 10 minutes in our normal stretch. Ads will kick in sometime before then. And this is about 5 pages, and given these pages, you know what? Fuck it. We'll run over. Let's get this one. We'll do this one tonight, and this will be where we wrap up. I'd rather run over than cut short. We're doing good, and I'm enjoying Whitman tonight. So, let's continue with our last selection for the evening. I Sing the Body Electric. I sing the body electric. The armies of those I love engirth me, and I engirth them. They will not let me off till I go with them, respond to them, and discorrupt them, and charge them full with the charge of the soul. Was it doubted that those who corrupt their own bodies conceal themselves? And if those who defile the living are as bad as they who defile the dead, and if the body does not do fully as much as the soul, if the body were not the soul, what is the soul? The love of the body of man or woman balks account. The body itself balks account. That of the male is perfect, and that of the female is perfect. The expression of the face balks account, but the expression of a well-made man appears not only in his face, it is in his limbs and joints also. It is curiously in the joints of his hips and wrists. It is in his walk, the carriage of his neck, the flex of his waist and knees. Dress does not hide him. The strong, sweet quality he has strikes through the cotton and broadcloth. To see him pass conveys as much as the best poem, perhaps more. You linger to see his back, and the back of his neck and shoulder side, the sprawl and fullness of babes, the bosoms and heads of women, the folds of their dress, their style as we pass in the street, the contour of their shape downwards, the swimmer naked in swimming bath, seen as he swims through the transparent green shine, or lies with his face up and rolls silently to and from the heave of the water. The bending forward and backward of rowers and rowboats, the horseman in his saddle, girls, mothers, housekeepers. In all their performances, the group of laborers seated at noontime with their open dinner kettles and their wives waiting, the female soothing a child, the farmer's daughter in the garden or cow yard, the young fellow hosing corn, the sleigh driver driving his 6 horses through the crowd, the wrestle of wrestlers, the 2 apprentice boys quite grown, lusty, their good-natured native born out on the vacant lot at sundown after work, the coats and caps thrown down, the embrace of love and resistance, the upper hold and under hold, the hair rumpled down over blinding the eyes, the march of firemen, in their own costumes, the play of masculine muscle through clean-setting trousers and waist straps, the slow return from the fire, the pause when the bell strikes suddenly again, and the listening on the alert, the natural, perfect, varied attitudes, the bent head, the curved neck, and the counting. Such like I love. I loosen myself, pass freely, am at the mother's breast with the little child, swim with the swimmers, wrestle with the wrestlers, march in line with the firemen, and pause, listen, count. I knew a man, a common farmer, the father of 5 sons, and in them the fathers of sons, and in them the fathers of sons. This man was of wonderful vigor, calmness, beauty of person, the shape of his head, the pale yellow and white of his hair and beard, the immeasurable meaning of his black eyes, the richness and breadth of his manners. These I used to go and visit him to see. He was wise also. He was 6 feet tall. He was over 80 years old. His sons were massive, clean, bearded, tan-faced, handsome. They and his daughters loved him. All who saw him loved him. They did not love him by allowance. They loved him with personal love. He drank water only. The blood showed like scarlet through the clear brown skin of his face. He was a frequent gunner and fisher. He sailed his boat himself. He had a fine one presented to him by a ship joiner. He had fowling pieces presented to him by men that loved him. When he went with his 5 sons and many grandsons to hunt or fish, you would pick him out as the most beautiful, vigorous of the gang. You would wish long and long to be with him. You would wish to sit by him in the boat that you and he might touch each other. I have perceived that to be with those I like is enough. To stop in company with the rest at evening is enough. To be surrounded by beautiful, curious, breathing, laughing flesh is enough. To pass among them or touch any one or rest my arm ever so lightly round his or her neck for a moment, what is this then? I do not ask any more delight. I swim in it as in a sea. There is something in staying close to men and women and looking on them, and in the contact and odor of them that pleases the soul well. All things please the soul, but these please the soul well. This is the female form. A divine nimbus exhales from it from head to foot. It attracts with fierce, undeniable attraction. I am drawn by its breath as if I were no more than a helpless vapor. All falls aside but myself and it. Books, art, religion, time, the visible and solid earth, and what was expected of heaven, or feared of hell, and are now consumed. Mad filaments, ungovernable root shoots play out of it, the response likewise ungovernable. Hair, bosom, hips, bend of legs, negligent falling hands, all diffused, mine too diffused. Ebb, stung by the flow, and flow stung by the ebb, love flesh swelling and deliciously aching. Limitless, limpid jets of love, hot and enormous, quivering jelly of love, white blow and delirious nice, bridegroom night of love, working surely and softly into the prostrate dawn, undulating into the willing and yielding day, lost in the cleave of the clasping and sweet-fleshed day. In this nucleus, after the child is born of woman, man is born of woman, this is the bath of birth. This is the merge of small and large, and the outlet again. Be not ashamed, women. Your privilege encloses the rest, and is the exit of the rest. You are the gates of the body, and you are the gates of the soul. The female contains all qualities and tempers them. She is in her place and moves with perfect balance. She is all things duly veiled. She is both passive and active. She is to conceive daughters as well as sons, and sons as well as daughters, as I see my soul reflected in nature, as I see through a mist one with inexpressible completeness, sanity, beauty. See the bent head and arms folded over the breast. The female I see. All right, we've got ads coming up in like 30 seconds, so we're going to take a short break. We will let this ride through, and when we get back, we'll get through the last 3 pages or so of this one. This is a powerful section, and honestly, this last whole chapter book has been powerful. This is more embracing of sexuality and amorous adventures. So we'll have a little bit of discussion as we go through, but we are running a little tight on time. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. We'll let the ads run, and we'll get through the last of this poem when we return. All right, we are back. So let's go ahead and get through the last couple pages of tonight's reading. Resuming from verse 6. The mail is... Yes, Automod. I will allow that. We were talking about adult themes tonight, and we'll let Akimos go through. The male is not less the soul nor more. He too is in his place. He too is all qualities. His action and power, the flush of the known universe is in him. Scorn becomes him well, and appetite and defiance become him well. And the wildest, largest passions, bliss that is utmost, sorrow that is utmost, become him well. Pride is for him. The full-spread pride of man is calming and excellent to the soul. Knowledge becomes him. He likes it always. He brings everything to the test of himself. Whatever the survey, whatever the sea and the sail he strikes, soundings at last only here. Where else does he strike soundings except here? The man's body is sacred, and the woman's body is sacred. No matter who it is sacred. It is the meanest one in the laborer's gang. Is it one of the dull-faced immigrants just landed on the wharf? Each belongs here, or anywhere, just as much as the well-off, just as much as you. Each has his or her place in the procession. All is procession. The universe is a procession with measured and perfect motion. Do you know so much yourself that you call the meanest ignorant? Do you suppose you have a right to a good sight, or he or she has no right to a sight? Do you think matter has cohered together from its diffuse float, and the soil is on the surface, and water runs, and vegetation sprouts for you only, and not for him and her? Okay, so we may gripe about Automod, but we must be aware that it was probably legitimately held. When we're talking about eroticism and sexualization, it's understandable that Automod would be like, "Whoa, hold up. Are we sure? Are we sure?" It gave me the option to release it, so there's that. So it's not surprising, not even really disappointing, just like yes, one more time. A man's body at auction. For before the war, I often go to the slave mart and watch the sale. I help the auctioneer. The Slaven does not half know its business. The Slaven. Gentlemen, look on this wonder. Whatever the bids of the bidders, they cannot be high enough for it. For it the globe lay preparing quintillions of years without one animal or plant. For it the revolving cycles truly and steadily rolled. In this head the all-baffling brain, in it and below it the makings of heroes. Examine these limbs, red, black, or white, their cunning in tendon and nerve. They shall be stripped, that you may see them. Exquisite senses, lifelet eyes, pluck, volition, flakes of breast muscle, pliant backbone and neck, flesh not flabby, good-sized arms and legs, and wonders within there yet. Within there runs blood, the same old blood, the same red running blood. There swells and jets a heart, there all passions, desires, reachings, aspirations. Do you think they are not there because they are not expressed in parlors and lecture rooms? This is not only one man. This is the father of those who shall be fathers in their turns. In him the start of populous states and rich republics. Of him countless immortal lives with countless embodiments and enjoyments. How do you know who shall come from the offspring of his offspring through the centuries? Who might you find? You've come from yourself, if you could trace back through the centuries. A woman's body at auction. She, too, is not only herself, she is the teeming mother of mothers. She is the bearer of them that shall grow and be mates to the mothers. Have you ever loved the body of a woman? Have you ever loved the body of a man? Do you not see that these are exactly the same to all, in all nations and times, all over the earth? If anything is sacred, the human body is sacred, and the glory and sweet of a man is the token of manhood untainted, and in man or woman a clean, strong, firm, fibered body is more beautiful than the most beautiful face. Have you seen the fool that corrupted his own live body, or the fool that corrupted her own live body? For they do not conceal themselves, and cannot conceal themselves. Oh, my body, I dare not desert the likes of you and other men and women, nor the likes of the parts of you. I believe the likes of you are to stand or fall with the likes of the soul, and that they are the soul. I believe the likes of you shall stand or fall with my poems, and that they are my poems. Man's, woman's, child's, youth's, wife's, husband's, mother's, father's, young man's, young woman's poems, head, neck, hair, ears, drop and tympan of the ears, eyes, eye fringes, irises of the eye, eyebrows, and the waking or sleeping of the lids, mouth, tongue, lips, teeth, roof of the mouth, jaws, and the jaw hinges, nose, nostrils of the nose, and the partition, cheeks, temples, forehead, chin, throat, back of the neck, sleeve, strong shoulders, manly beard, scapula, hind shoulders, and the ample side round of the chest. Upper arm, armpit, elbow socket, lower arm sinews, arm bones, wrist and wrist joints, hand, palm, knuckles, thumb, forefinger, finger joints, fingernails, broad breast, front, curling hair of the breastbone, breast side, ribs, belly, backbone, joints of the backbone, hips, hip socket, hip strength, inward and outward, round, man balls, man roots, strong set of thighs, well carrying the trunk above, leg fibers, knee pan, upper leg, upper under leg, ankles, instep, football, toes, toe joints, the heel, all attitudes, all the shapeliness, all the belongings of my or your body, or of anyone's body, male or female, the lungs, sponges, the stomach sac, the bowels sweet and clean, the brain in its folds inside the skull frame, sympathies, heart valves, palate valves, sexuality, maternity, womanhood, and all that is a woman, and the man that comes from woman, the womb, the teats, the nipples, breast milk, tears, laughter, weeping, love looks, love perturbations, and risings, the voice, articulation, language, whispering, shouting, aloud, food, drink, pulse, digestion, sweat, sleep, wake, walking, swimming, poise on the hips, leaping, reclining, embracing, arm curving and tightening, the continual changes of the flex of the mouth and around the eyes, the skin, the sunburnt shade, freckles, hair, the curious sympathy one feels when feeling with the hand, the naked meat of the body, the circling rivers of breath and breathing it in and out, the beauty of the waist and thence of the hips and thence downward toward the knees, the thin red jellies within you or within me, the bones and the marrow in the bones, behold the exquisite realization of health. Oh, I say these are not the parts and poems of the body only, but of the soul. Oh, I say now, these are the soul. Oh, man, okay. Walt, Walt, you were not kind to me tonight. That was a lot. That was quite the mouthful there. Whew. But yes, absolutely, this is a fantastic example that none of this is new. And everyone has value and always has had value. Not because of anything that's individual, it's intrinsic to everyone and everything. And that is, it's timeless. 200 years ago, this was known. Just because it's come in vogue one time or another doesn't make it any more or less right. It's eternal. We've always all had value just by virtue of existing. Individual value? Sure. There can be words. There can and is value in the individual, but it is not prerequisite. You don't need to earn your place in existence. You've already earned it simply by existing. That's profoundly beautiful. Profoundly. All parts of you. I do like that in this most of today's reading, we've seen Whitman's stance. He really seems more panamorous than anything else. He is of the universe, is of all the people, and loves the universe, all the people that exist now or ever. He has the capacity to love those who have the capacity to be loved. Very poignant. Very, very poignant. There's something to be related to in him, no matter who you are or where you're coming from. There's a good chance that he would love who you love. There's a good chance that he would love you as he loves himself. Yeah. Yeah, definitely queer. Definitely queer. The exact definition is more up in the air, but really, who are we to put people in buckets? Yeah, gay, bisexual, pan. I think the only thing we can agree on is he's probably not ace, because man has got all sorts of urges. That's about all that we can say for sure, is Whitman probably not ace. Alright guys, let's go ahead and see. The next chapter is going to be, or the next poem is going to be A Woman Waits for Me, but that will be next time. So she will be waiting for a couple days. Funny how that works. So let's go ahead and get out of our reading nook. We've gone over tonight, so we don't need to worry about it too much. I will say, I made a post over on Bluesky today that I was rather amused at. I was looking at our books at my library as I was pulling this one up, and wouldn't you know, we have read 67 books since we started our channel. And I just thought, you know what? That needs a screenshot for posterity. I may not actively participate in the brain rot, but I can understand it and people get enthused by it. So you know what? Fuck it. Let's go. If nothing else, it's a big number. Alright guys, we've had a good night. I, again, cannot stress how much I've enjoyed Walt Whitman. Yeah. Yeah, 2 more and we'll get to another funny number. Just, it's been funnier for longer, and that's really the only claim to fame it has. Yeah. Anyway, I cannot stress how much I've enjoyed our reading of Walt Whitman and Leaves of Grass. And how surprised I was by how poignant it still is, and how inspiring it still is. The hope and the optimism and the universality that we're finding in these poems is fantastic. And I cannot stress enough how, whether you are finding yourself represented in this month or not, how much this can mean something to you. It doesn't matter which way you present yourself, if you're one way or another, or all of the above. This is a universal feeling. These poems, the whole reading today was all about universality, and how all of us have value simply because we exist. You don't need to earn anything. You don't need to approach anything from any different direction. Just by being you, you have value, have the potential to be loved, have love to give. And that is incredibly powerful. Exactly. Queer media has value for non-queer people. We can all do our best to learn more. Self-acceptance and universality and universal value and self-love, other love, etc. It's to the betterment of society, civilization, etc. I know it sounds like an empty platitude, love is love, but it is. It is. All right. That's enough out of me tonight. I'm happy that we've found so much enjoyment out of Walt Whitman tonight. As I'd said when we started out, I'm usually not much one for poets and poems in general, but given the timing and just how good this is and how applicable it is to all times, all places, and all peoples, I'm enjoying this a lot. So let's go ahead and see who we have that's out there tonight that we might be able to raid into. Let me get a refresh to be sure that we're on the right list. Let's see. Cryptid is going tonight. Let's see. Somebody's doing, let's see. They're writing. Somebody's reading the Bhagavad Gita. Damn, alright. EM is going tonight. We haven't been to him in a little bit. Let's see. Very few people in... Oh, you know what? I didn't click same category. That explains why I see so very many people. Let's see. I think Salithia is writing. A lot of people are reading, writing, and editing, or writing and editing. That's a rerun there of Wuthering Heights. We actually have quite a selection tonight. Actually, you know what? Let's see. Well, Neff is there, but I'm not sure what he's doing. He's been going for about 2 hours too. So, oh, this one's reading East of Eden. Wow. You know what? This is a new one. Let's go. Let's go. There's someone who we haven't gotten to before, but they're reading East of Eden, so they must be good people. So we're going to be raiding over to Vasca Does Things tonight. Here we are. All right, so I hope you give them our very best as we raid over. And as always, thank you for joining us. I hope you've had a good time with our reading tonight. And we'll be back on Tuesday for our next reading from Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. Until then, I hope you have a lovely evening, and good night.
My son, if you have a secret with your brothers and sisters, I don't mind.